All right. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm here with Mandy, who is just celebrating just over 2 years alcohol free, which is incredible to say. Congratulations, first and foremost. Like, how does it feel? Here you are, over 2 years alcohol free later. Tell us what that's like.
Well, I think surprisingly, I don't think about it. Whereas, when you're in the depths of drinking every day, that's all you think about. When am I going to get the next drink? Do I have enough at home? Do I have to stop by the store on the way home? Am I gonna finish the bottle and need another one? Maybe I need to prepare by getting more. And so the surprising thing I think is that I don't even think about it. And when it does cross my mind, I'm like, wow, that was so much energy thinking about alcohol all day, every day.
Yeah, isn't that interesting how much mental calories and energy are just burned and wasted on that? And I talk to so many people in this situation where it's almost just kind of uneventful, right? Like I don't drink anymore, and alcohol is not a part of my life. It doesn't hit my radar. It's just not part of my identity anymore, and that's got to feel freeing to not have that weighing on you constantly.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you quickly move from that place of thinking about it every day to not thinking about it. And it's not until you sort of force yourself to go back into that mindset that you're like, wow, that was so much energy and so much time. And now I just go home and I go for a walk and I'm not thinking about having a drink in my hand all the time.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, I love it. Did you think that that's what it would be like a little over 2 years ago when you were contemplating, making this change in your life with alcohol? Did you think, okay, well, this is what I'm going to feel like, or what did you think like an alcohol-free life would look like?
I thought that it was going to be boring. I thought I wouldn't fit in. I thought I would have to muscle through not drinking, that I would have to be determined. In fact, I have like old journal entries of like, Mandy, if you could just be more determined, then you would not need alcohol in your life. And what your program really was about was that it's not about muscling through. It's about changing your mindset about alcohol. And now when I think of alcohol, even like when I walk like in a store and there's like a wine aisle, because in Colorado we have wine in our grocery stores, like I physically feel ill just thinking about even the possibility of drinking that. And like I just feel like it's poison. So it's not a muscling through. It's like a full like rejection of anything close to that. It's just gross to me.
Yeah.
And that's what I think your program does differently that, it's not like, hey, I don't have any control and gosh, it sucks that I don't have control over this and I have to muscle through and I have to be really determined and I have to really work hard not to drink. Instead, it's like, ugh, like no, I don't even want that in my life. I don't even want to walk in the grocery store. Like, I've been at events where they're like, hey, can you pick up some champagne on the way? And I'm like, 100% no. Like that, no, thank you. Like, I don't even want to have it in my hand. I don't like it gives me a headache just to think about it. Like, it's awful.
Yeah. And that's, our program is called Freedom from Alcohol for that reason, because it is like it's freeing, because just like you're talking about there, when I thought about giving up alcohol, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's going to be a struggle, a fight. I'm going to be restricting. I'm going to feel like I'm depriving myself. It's going to be boring. And the opposite of that is true. It's so freeing. And so I'm so happy to hear you say that, because that's what I think the misconception is, that if I give up this alcohol, all these myths that we have and beliefs about that our life is going to be so different. And in a way it is, but in a good way different, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like that's the one hurdle, the one roadblock that is really standing in the way of being who we are supposed to be, getting back to the real version of us. And when I saw that you had posted a couple weeks ago on your social media, like what you've experienced in these 2 years of being alcohol free, I'm like, yes, that's what it's all about right there. So I would love if you would kind of just share with us what you've experienced since making the decision to be done with alcohol.
Yeah, I think that some of the challenge of that particular time in my life was that I was in a job that I really didn't like, and I didn't see a way out of that. And so having spent some time, so getting alcohol free a couple months later, really identifying that this particular job is not serving me, and in fact, it's really dampering my health. I was able to find another job that is much more fulfilling for me. And in the process of that, I rekindled some thoughts around a business that I had always kind of thought about doing. And more than the business itself, it was in my really low points of time. And the reason why I drank is because I wanted to numb out because honestly, I didn't have any, I don't know if anybody will relate to this, but I didn't have a compelling future. I had gotten a divorce. I had found myself in a situation. I was in this job that I hated, and I didn't know where I was going or really what the purpose of my life was any longer. And I no longer had the future that I had intended to have with the person that I had intended to have it with. So without that compelling future, it was like, what's the point? Like, just drink every that like that's fun. I at least have something to look forward to when I get home from work. And but being a high achieving person, which I know you are, you're the people who go through your program are high achieving people. Being the high achieving person that I am, without having a compelling future, I felt lost. I didn't know what to do. So, like other times in my life when I was going toward a goal, like a triathlon or a half Ironman, or to do all of the Colorado 14,000 foot peaks, like when I was going toward that goal, I would break it down into like tiny little things that I could do each day. So without that compelling future, I didn't have that goal, nor could I think about doing a triathlon when I was hungover every day. So I did what I knew how to do, and that was to create little things I could do each day. And these things weren't like go run 3 miles and then tomorrow go run 5 miles and the next day go swim a mile. It was take a deep breath. It was floss my teeth. It was get some sun on my face. It was take a 5 minute walk. It was journal how I felt about the day. They were really tiny little things, and I called them my self-love habits because even if I was drunk and I was getting ready for bed, if I looked on my self-love habit tracker and I identified 2 things that I did for myself that day, it felt like at least it was a win.
Mm-hmm.
And every day it would say, don't drink alcohol or no alcohol day. That one was never checked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was on the list. It never got checked. So if nothing else, even in my drunken phase every night, I would have some kind of little dopamine spike that showed at least I did something for myself today. And so out of that, I had shared that with a couple of people, and they were like, "Man, if you create that habit tracker, I want to buy it. I'm curious about that." And so less than like going out to try to create a business, what I really did was I called it my passion project. If it meant something to me and somebody's telling me that it could benefit them, maybe that's something that's worthy of putting out into the world. Then there's all kinds of stuff out there about like, oh my gosh, I'm putting out like something into the world that I created, and that's really scary, and all the self-doubt. But as I started to write about what this tracker would be, I identified that there's a whole lot more to it. And I created a company called Woman in Bloom, and the product is a guided workbook. So more than just the habit tracker, it's guiding you through 7 different areas of your life and how to evaluate what that gap is. So this is where I am now, and this is where I think I want to go, but what's that gap in there? And how might I be able to bridge that gap? And then the self-love habit tracker, which was my passion project, and then a gratitude journal, because I think anytime that you can put pen to paper, there's miraculous things that come out that you didn't even know were there. So I combined all three, and it's called Woman in Bloom because it's really intended for women who are sort of at a crossroads in their lives. They're not yet sure where they're going. They're not who they used to be, whether that's because now they're empty nesters, or maybe they're coming out of college and now they're like, what's next in my life? Or whatever part of life that they're in, we tend to find ourselves sometimes at a crossroads of who we were and where we're going, and we have to navigate that in some way. So this is a tool to help women navigate that time in their life.
I love that so much. And what a needed thing, because I think there's so many people, and this is specifically for women, but I just think
Yeah.
people in general, are in that place where it's like, I've done something for so long, this is part of my identity, and it feels like I don't know if this is where I'm supposed to be or if there's more, and we have that calling little inkling that we ignore a lot of the times, but it keeps nagging at us, right? And it's like, nah, I'm gonna listen to that. And this is a way for for people to really kind of figure out, okay, what is it that I want to do, right? And I think there's just, I mean, I can definitely identify with that, and there's a lot of people in the same boat. And again, you talked about it before, where feeling like, what is my future? I thought my life was going to go this way, and now I don't really know what that looks like. And so of course things like alcohol in our
Mhm.
situation, but in other people's lives it could be gambling, it could be shopping, it could be food, it could be, you name it, right? Comes in and distracts us, and says, no, let's just go down this road, right? And then all of a sudden we wake up and we're like, well, I didn't ask to be here, but here I am. And it's in those moments where we get to decide what we want to do, right? We
Mhm.
all get to choose what path we're going to take. And so you said, I don't like this path. I've been doing it long enough. It's not working for me. I'm going to do the harder path. That is unknown. It's scary, but there's a lot of upside there that I believe in myself, and I'm gonna take that road, which is so courageous. I'm so grateful that you chose that road, and that so many other people are. And now you're helping other people make those decisions too, which is incredible. So I just want to congratulate you on all this,
Thank you.
because what I tell people all the time is it's not our program, it's not what we do to help people change their lives. It's up to everybody individually to actually, number one, want the change. Like, it has to
Mhm.
start there with this desire of, I can't keep doing this, something's got to change. Because if you don't have that commitment level, it's very hard to actually make the change. So you got to
Yeah.
start there. But number two, you got to do the work necessary, because it's not easy, right? It's not, there's no magic bullet here. It's, you got to put in the work and do what it takes. And that's exactly what you did. And that's why here you are, over 2 years alcohol free, not fighting alcohol, not wishing you could drink it, not going, seeing somebody else drink and going, oh man, sure wish that would be nice if I could do that, but I can't. No, you're going, I got my whole life back now. I got me back, you
Yeah.
know? So again, congratulations on all that, and share with people. So obviously now you've started your dream business, right? I don't
Yeah.
think you would have done that. You wouldn't be here if you wouldn't have made this decision to get alcohol out of your life, right? Or is that accurate to
No,
say? Okay.
this is totally accurate. Yes, absolutely.
So, which is that's in and of itself incredible, but you've also accomplished some really other amazing things. Like, what else has happened in your life by making this decision to cut alcohol out?
Well, I think for a lot of people, they do lose weight. I think that's just something that tends to happen. For me, it didn't happen right away. And I think it's because you know how alcohol affects your body in so many really terrible ways. And one of it is that you have a massive amount of cortisol in your body. So your stress hormone is like through the roof all the time. That's why we get those like 5 o'clock scaries or whatever they're called when your heart starts palpitating and you're just like, oh my God, I need to have a drink because my anxiety is over the top. That's why we wake up at 3 a.m. and we're like, ruminating and we can't sleep and we're like sick and, all those things because our body is just in like, we're poisoning our bodies. And so it didn't happen, the weight loss didn't happen for me overnight or very quickly. In fact, it took probably like 9 or 10 months when my cortisol finally kind of like settled down, like my nervous system settled down. I was able to calm my nervous system down enough to feel safe, which is kind of a weird thing, but and then, kind of working through some hormone stuff and things like that. I'm 50, and so like, got all kinds of hormone stuff happening. And once I worked through all that, I lost 50 pounds, which I think I hit it well because I don't remember how that could be possible. And I lift 50 pounds at the gym. I'm like, there's no way that I was 50 pounds heavier. And then I've always been an exerciser and a weightlifter, but I did a weightlifting competition.
Oh yeah, that's so
Not like
badass.
a muscle, not like, get up on stage and show your muscles, but it was a powerlifting competition. So I deadlifted 265 pounds, which is just blows my mind. I don't know how that I did that. But there's all kinds of things. I mean, every day there's a miracle that I live through because not only am I not numbing myself, but I can use my intuition differently. I know you talk about that sometimes where you 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 can't tap into that higher person that you are or a higher self or a higher power when you're just numb and sick all the time. And so now just like those miracles that happen every day, I'm like, wow, that's so cool. That wouldn't have happened had I been numbing and drinking every day.
Yeah, literally, the vibrational level that we're on is different, and we get so used to feeling that way, like you said, just feeling sick, not feeling good. We accept that, we forget what
Hmm.
it's like to actually feel good and wake up with clarity and energy instead of hungover and foggy, and sort of that guilt and shame and the anxiety that's always kind of cloudy and hovering around. And when that finally breaks free, man, it's like it really is this feeling that you can't explain unless you've gone through it. And I think it's a really good point that you brought up there is really having patience and staying consistent, because so many people want the results right away, especially in today's society. We want the magic pill, we want something that's quick, we can order everything on our phones, give us that instant gratification. And we have to remember that we've been putting a poison into our body for a long time.
Hmm.
And our bodies are amazing, our brains are amazing. If we give it time, they will come back. They will recalibrate, but it takes time. And so many people go, I'm going to quit drinking, and they give it a couple of weeks, maybe 30 days, maybe even a little bit longer, and they go, I don't really notice that much is
Hmm.
different. I haven't lost the weight. I'm not sleeping better, whatever. They don't give it
Hmm.
time, and they go, I might as well go back to it. But if
Yep.
you stick with it long enough and you have a strong why, like you've had, pulling you through in those challenging moments, and you give it the time that it takes, man, you will reap the rewards, and it just keeps getting better and better if you allow it to, right? And again, I think you mentioned this earlier, but it's all about the mindset that you approach this with. Do you agree with
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, what was so beneficial about your program was not only, changing your mindset about alcohol, but it was also having somebody to be accountable to. So because you provide coaches, I had to be accountable to someone. I live alone. I don't have kids. I don't have a husband. I had a job that I was somehow able to go to every morning completely hungover and still function at a high level, but I didn't have anybody to be accountable to. And so that's that mindset that you're talking about is like changing your mind around this is not something that I'm going to go without. It's going to be something that adds to my life. The fact that I don't drink is something that adds to my life. And then for me, having that additional coach that just I had to check in with and say, yes or no.
Hmm.
And that was enough for me to be like, okay, line drawn in the sand. There's no keeping that door even a little bit open. it's completely shut and there's no going back and there's nothing that could do that door is bolted shut forever.
Yep, yep. That's one of the key pieces we tell people when they sign up with us is like closing that door all the way. Because so
Hmm.
many times in the past, when I was on the start stop cycle,
Yes.
it was the door was always left open a little crack, and oh, I'll get this under control, and then someday I can be quote unquote a normal drinker, right? And
Yeah.
as long as that those thoughts are swirling around, we're never fully free. Well,
No.
when I made the decision that no matter what, I'm a non drinker. I don't care how stressful the day gets. I don't care how much I
Hmm.
want to celebrate or how many good things happen, whatever I used before to go to alcohol. I'm not going to do that anymore. It's off the table. I
Yeah.
have to think what would a non-drinker do in those situations. And when you step into that, you change your identity to this person who not only doesn't drink but deserves better than putting poison into their body. And again, like you said,
Yes.
it's an empowering decision, right? It's not somebody's telling me to do this. I don't have to do it. I'm making that decision because I have decided that I deserve better. And there's a difference there, and it's you stop fighting, and you go, God, I'm so happy that I made this decision, right? And
Mhm.
that was for me the video that you put out of all the things that have happened over the 2 years of you not drinking. When you said I love myself again, like
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. Talk more about that. What's different about the old version of you that was drinking
Mm.
to the version of you now that loves herself again?
Yeah. You just mentioned it. You said when you kept that door open a little, you were always negotiating with yourself. You were always saying, okay, I'll only drink on the weekends, or I'll only have wine, or I'll only drink 2 drinks every night instead of 10. That always negotiating, what that created for me was lack of trust in myself. So I knew that even if I was saying, okay, I'm going to quit today, I I couldn't trust that that was true. I wanted to a lot. And there's so many times in my journal that I would write, okay, that's it. This is it. This is the final. This is, no more. Or as of this date, or as of this date, as of this date. I was constantly negotiating with myself. With that, with me losing trust in myself, I think think about any relationship that you've had. If you all of a sudden, if you were, really close with somebody and then you lost trust in them, you can't love them the way that you used to. So I didn't love myself because I didn't feel that I could trust myself. And that's a really scary, awful place to be. And so in shutting that door completely, in drawing that line in the sand, in saying, no, this is my new identity. This is my new personality. This is who I am now. I learned to trust myself again, which grew into loving myself again.
Excuse me. Yeah, and that's what it's all about right there. Because when there's this misalignment and you don't trust yourself and you are constantly negotiating and you tell yourself you're going to do something and then you don't, man, it's like you get further and further away from your soul, from your true self, from your higher self, all the things that we talk about. And then when you get reacquainted with that version of yourself, it's pretty powerful, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like, and I tell people all the time that work through our program, like if you can do this, there's not much else you can't do. I really believe that.
Yeah.
In a society that glorifies alcohol, that we've been programmed to believe not only is it not that bad, right? But it's this
Right.
elixir that glues everything together, this elixir of life that is there for the stressful days, is there to connect with people, for networking, for happy hour, and to make the bold, brave, badass decision to go, I'm not going to do that anymore because it's not working for me anymore. Again, when you've done that, it's so powerful, and then all these other things that come along with it become why you do it. It has nothing to do with the alcohol. That's just the tool and the solution that our brain has learned to keep going to. But when we finally get honest with ourselves about it, that it's not helping us anymore. It's this freedom that comes with it that I'm seeing in you. I your your energy is so incredible, and it always has been, right? And I've known that from the moment that you and I first spoke. I'm like, oh yeah, Mandy is special. Like she has this. She's gonna crush this. I've never had a doubt in my mind, and you've made me so happy to be here talking to you over 2 years of what was it? Was it TikTok where you just like came across me and was like, "Oh,
Yep.
I'm gonna reach out to this guy and see what it's all about." Like, and you had no reason to do so, and you trusted me and my team to help you with this, and here you are again. You did the work, and now your life is incredible. So I again want to congratulate you. And the last thing I want to ask you is, what would you say to maybe the old version of you or somebody that is where you used to be and where I used to be with alcohol that either doesn't know or maybe is scared of what an alcohol free life would look like or doesn't believe that it's possible? Like what would you tell that person?
I think, Chris, I think the hardest part is just the first couple of weeks. And I think that if you can make it the first couple of weeks, for me, one of the reasons why I drank is because I had trouble sleeping without it.
Yep.
And so after a couple of weeks, you finally kind of regulate your sleep. And then if you can just say at that 2 week, 3 week, 4 week mark with conviction, like, don't test this. So, because that's what I had done in the past. I had stopped for, maybe even like 4 or 5 months at a time, and then I'd be like, oh, I'm good now. I'm good. So don't test it. Don't assume that you're good now, because you're not. Trust it, first 2, 3, 4 weeks, once you get past that and the door is completely shut, it's easy. It's so easy. So this thing that we create in our mind, like it's going to be so hard, it is hard for a little bit, but being hard for a couple of weeks is so worth literally throwing your life away in this numbed state for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So work pretty hard for a little bit, and then it becomes so easy, and it's like, why would I ever do that ever again?
Yeah.
But don't test it.
Yeah, yeah. So many good points there. Like you get to choose your hard, right? A lifetime of negotiating with yourself about alcohol and knowing that it's holding you back and all the stuff that comes with it. Like that's hard. You can do hard for a little while and sacrifice a couple of weeks of discomfort and just things changing for then what comes after it. And that's again the decision that we make every day. Like you get to choose your hard.
Yeah.
One of the quotes that I love and I share with people all the time that changed my life was hard choices equal easy life, easy choices equal hard life. And if you keep making easy choices, you're going to have a hard life. But if you decide, like Mandy did, to go, I'm going to make the hard choice, your life gets easier and all these things eventually come into it if you allow it to, because again, it opens things up that are blocked by alcohol.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so here you are again. The business is called Woman in Bloom. And
Woman in
is there a
Bloom.
website? How do we get in touch? How do people like connect with you about this?
Yeah, so it's thewomaninbloom.com. And as of this recording, website isn't live, but it's going to be probably next week. Product is done and about to be in publication. So we're getting really, really close.
How exciting! I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Well, that's
Chris, I wanted
awesome.
to mention one other thing, and I don't know if it'll resonate with your clients or with the people who see you on social media. But I think the one thing that I didn't realize is that me making this decision has so many ripple effects that are beyond what I could ever have imagined. I, I said, I'm not going to drink anymore. That changed how my parents view alcohol, and they're non-drinkers now. Um, because of the people that I work with and the things that we do, there are some people at work who have at least chosen for a certain amount of time not to be drinkers. Because of my weight loss, people are like, if you can do it, I can do it too. So there's so many ripple effects that I'm going to say inspire other people, and that's really not the intention, but that affect other people in a positive way, that they look at people who have done what they don't think is possible, and then they have hope that it's possible for them.
Yeah, that's the best thing about this, the ripple effect, and I love that so much about the people in your life that it's so many people that work with us have experienced the same thing. We were just talking about this on our group call this week, how you become this leader to people, and people are watching and they go, wow, Mandy did this. Look at all these like things that have changed in her life, and it gives them hope. It does inspire them to go, I can do this,
Mhm.
and we have that choice to make an impact. And again, it's not because we're telling people what they should do or anything like that. They're just watching
Yeah.
and they're seeing literally the change in us. And yes, what a beautiful thing, right? If we can inspire people to not only show that, hey, you can change, but you can have the life that you want. But guess what? It's up to you, right? It's not up to anybody else. Nobody's going to come and change our life for us. Where a lot of people, that's where my mindset used to be. Like, if somebody would just tell me what to do, it'll change. No, you got to look in the mirror and go, this is up to me, right? And then, yeah, when you see people in your life like you are doing, it gives that glimmer of hope. Like, okay, change is possible. Because so many
Mhm.
people, I think, stay stuck and like we're trapped and we don't have a choice. It's like, no, we do have a choice, but it's not always easy. And
Yeah.
man, it's so cool when you can be that inspiration for other people. And I love that you definitely have been. You inspire me. Like you literally do. Like I wish I could deadlift 260 pounds. I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. But that's awesome. But and you talk about the accountability piece, and that is one of the things that I believe coaching is good for, and what we help people with. When you have somebody to hold you accountable, it makes a true difference. And it's the same way with me with working out. It took me a long
Yeah.
time to like realize, because I would be like, I got to work out, I got to go to the gym, and I wouldn't do it because nobody was holding me accountable. It wasn't
Hmm.
until I hired somebody to go, all right, make sure that even if I'm sick or whatever, I'm coming in and I'm working out. And now here I am a year and a half later, and I love it. I love going to work
Nice.
out because this person has
Nice.
held me accountable, and I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't have that accountability. So I'm glad that you brought that up. I wanted to come back to that real quick, but it does make a difference, and I think we all need that a little bit, right?
Hmm.
Because so many of us don't have somebody to like be like that accountability partner, and it makes a
Hmm.
difference if somebody has done what you want to do. Why find out what they did. Like, it doesn't have to be this struggle. You don't have to keep trying to figure it out on your own, suffering in silence, which is what I did for many years because I don't
Yeah.
like to ask for help. That kind of people.
Yeah.
That's how you and I are. You talked about the high achieving thing of it earlier, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. So, man, incredible! It's so good to chat with you. Thank you for taking the time to share your story with us. And I look forward to continuing to follow your journey, and we'll keep in touch for sure. So thank you, Mandy, very much.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you. And thank you for all you do. And you probably have no idea how far those ripples have gone for what you've done and your company and your coaches. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you very much. I mean, that means the world to me. Grateful to know you, and yeah. So thank you again, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds good, Chris. Thank you.